Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with the San Francisco 49ers. And for the 49ers, their season didn't really start off strong, but it ended super strong. Regardless of who was the quarterback of that team just got hot at the right time. They didn't know how to lose. And it's mostly thanks to the defense, adding Christian McCaffrey in a mid-season trade, and that's pretty much what got them here. And they made yet another deep playoff run. And now looking at their schedule, they won the division, but they did suffer some early season losses, like the Chicago Bears. They lost. The only reason they lost that game because it was in a monsoon. The Denver Broncos, they lost that game because it was an ugly game. Falcons Falcons and Chiefs, I think they were both injured, but once that team started getting healthy, they beat the Rams in their second home in Los Angeles, beat the Chargers on a Sunday night, beat the Cardinals in Mexico, shut out the Saints, destroyed the Dolphins, destroyed the Bucks, beat the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, destroyed the Commanders, overcome the Raiders in overtime before destroying the Cardinals to get them at a 13-4 record. And in the playoffs, they made another deep run. They destroyed the Seattle Seahawks in a game that it was clear that they were the better team. And they destroyed the well, they didn't quite destroy the Dallas Cowboys, but they won a hard. They came, in my opinion, they kind of come from behind and beat them. And they used special teams and a fourth quarter running game to get that win. But injuries bit them at the wrong time, and they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now looking at some highlights for this team, and they swept the Rams again. I don't have much to say about that. Let's just move on. But Nick Bosa becoming the best defensive player in the game. He won Defensive Player of the Year. I think he led the NFL in sacks, if I'm correct. And Brock Purdy had his moments. He was a guy who wasn't even supposed to be in the position he's in, but due to their injuries around him, which I'm going to talk about in the lowlights, he made the most of it. Then came the lowlights. And to start off with the Trey Lance injury. In week 2 against the Seahawks, Trey Lance broke his fibula, missed the entire season. And he's still giving us that he's still an unknown. We don't know if he's the guy or not for the 49ers. But I think the 49ers are going to make sure he's the guy because if you don't recall, they gave up a package for him to trade up to get him with the third overall pick. Then Jimmy Garoppolo, he came in and played well and kept the team afloat until he hurt his foot against I think he hurt his foot against the Dolphins. And he had to miss the rest of the season, and that called on Brock Purdy, which him and his dogs, he got wins that normally QBs don't usually get. But in the end, he too would end up getting hurt. Although in the first drive in the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, he seriously hurt his elbow, but that led Josh Johnson. He had to come from behind. He had to come in cold and play the game. He clearly wasn't ready until he got hurt. Brock had to come in, but the Niners, they were pretty much dead fish in the sea. There was nothing that could have been done. Just all in all, basically the lowlights are Niners getting injured at the worst possible time. Now into some acquisitions, and the big one they had was Javon Hargraves, the defensive tackle from Philadelphia, joining the Eagles on a joining from the formerly of the Eagles on a 4-year deal. They also added Sam Darnold from the Panthers, Cleveland Farrell from the Raiders, and Isaiah Oliver for the Falcons. As for the losses, they did lose Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders, Mike McGlinchey to the Broncos, Samson Ebukam, Hassan Ridgeway, Jimmy Ward, he's no longer on the team. I felt like he'd been on the team forever. And Emmanuel Mosley, the pride of Dudley High School, has now joined the Detroit Lions. And in the draft, obviously, since due to the Trey Lance trade, they didn't have a lot of first round picks. They didn't have a lot of early draft picks, but their best known pick was taking a kicker in the third round, Jake Moody from Michigan. They also took Cameron Latu, a tight end from Alabama, and Braden Willis, a tight end from Oklahoma, who's probably going to wind up cut or practice squad because he was a 7th round pick, but whatever. So for the 49ers, can they finally get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl? Let's take a look. Alright, 49ers, let's take a look at your schedule. And you're going to start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. And normally, I do think the 49ers are the better team, but knowing the 49ers, they will lose a game that they aren't supposed to. And I think week 1 will be a testament for that. So therefore, I got them losing to the Steelers on the road week 1. But week 2 against the Rams, you know they say it's Rams house, but the 49ers often make it their house as 90% of their fans always come to these games. So I'm going to go with the 49ers to win on the road for their quote unquote home game. Week 3 against their home opener is a Thursday night game against the Giants. I'm going to go ahead and take the 49ers to win here. They're also going to get a easy win over the Cardinals. They're going to beat up on the Cowboys, beat the Browns week 6, beat the Vikings week 7 on Monday night. But I have them losing to the Bengals at home week 8. Mostly because the Bengals are coming off a bye. And speaking of a bye, the 49ers will go to a bye with a decent 6-2 record. Then they go on the road where the 49er fans travel well. They got the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to give them the win there. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, week 11. I already got them a win there. But against Seattle, I got them losing at Seattle. I think Seattle will get their revenge. And that takes us to a very tough week 13 game, possible NFC Championship preview against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, if you remember last year, the only reason the Eagles won because the 49ers ran out of quarterbacks. Simple as that. And they ran the ball very well. But what if all their quarterbacks were healthy for that game? It would have been different. But with that being said, this one is another toss-up. Normally I would pick the 49ers, but one thing's for certain, whatever the case is, the 49ers cannot beat the Eagles. I don't know what it is, but they just don't know how to beat that team. Even when the Eagles were bad, the 49ers finds a way to lose to them. So I'm going to go with the Eagles with this one. And as for the rest of their schedule, I've got them getting their revenge against the Seattle Seahawks, beating up on the Cardinals again, beating the Ravens on Monday night, going on the road beating the Commanders, and week 18, I got them once again sweeping the Rams, which should put their record at 13-4, which is actually the best record I have for them at this point. So, yeah, the 49ers, I did say the 49ers are going to be one of the best teams in the league, regardless of who's quarterbacking, and this record's going to show it. So let me know in the comments below what record you think the 49ers are going to have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.